All right. Hey guys, I'm just going to share this to a few people and then we're going to get started. I'm just going to be doing some clarinet practice, keeping it basic. I know it's a bit low resolution. We might fix that later. I'm actually going to call one of my friends to make sure that the audio is working all right. Wait, actually, let me mess with the microphone first. Is this better? Is this better? I think number two, no, number one, number one, two. I'm using a snowball mic, so I'm trying to figure out which mode it has is the best. All right, time to call my friend really quick. Oh, hey, Yolomavi. Could I ask you a quick favor?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm live on YouTube right now. I just want to make sure that my mic is working all right. Is it okay if you just check the stream really quick?
Sure. Yeah, I'll do that really quick. All right, give me a moment.
Okay. After you get on, I'll just play a few notes. And then of course, you don't have to stay or anything. It's
Okay.
all right.
Sorry, hold on. Give me a minute. I'm just.
No, you're totally good, man.
Live stream.
Oh, okay, wait, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'll send it on Discord if that's okay.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah.
Again, I really appreciate this, man.
All right. Try to speak something.
All right. It'll probably be like few seconds behind.
Yeah, I won't be able to hear it while I'm in the call, so I'll hang up and then I'll let you know on Discord.
Okay, I'll like play some notes. So when you see me play the notes, like let me know if you can hear the held notes and stuff. Okay.
All right, we'll do it.
Okay. Bye. All right, awesome. We are ready to go. All right, let's just play some warm-ups. First, we're going to do some long tones. So if I keep doing streams like this, I'm not really sure what it's going to turn into, but for now I just want to practice. Get back into the groove. Oh, it turns out that my cat is actually in here. I woke her up, so I'm going to let her out really quick. Right, Shadow. Yeah, my cat doesn't like the noises. It drives her crazy. So whenever I wake her up, it's time to let her out. I think it was on E. Let's just get right back into it. I don't know if you can see it because of the low resolution, but I am indeed sweating. Admittedly, it is summer, and there's a window like leads to right outside, and the sun is beating right on my house right now. So that's at least partially the reason. But as we keep going along, I'll get less and less tired. And tomorrow, I'm probably gonna do this with the drone. And of course, I welcome any questions about anything. Before I go on, I'm going to do some circular breathing. Okay, let's calm down with that. Okay. Whew. Okay, that might be the best I can do today on those. There's one more circular breathing exercise that I have to do, and it helps me do it while tonguing. All right, that's probably the best I'm going to be able to do today on that. We'll revisit that one tomorrow. Now I'm going to do some tonguing exercises. A little bit of a weird order. I like to do my stuff in a dynamic order. That just works for me. But if you want to do it like properly, it's good to do long tones and then scales, arpeggios, thirds, and such, and then tonguing after that. But yeah, clarinet practice is all about doing what works for you. If, in my opinion, whatever order allows it to get done the most is the way you should do it, because it's better to do it in a different order than not do it at all. See if I can get this one up to 80. Pay attention to the tempo a little more, really internalize it, and then I'll play it. Play the last line. It's offset, so I may not get it 100% correct. All right, it was okay. Could use some work. So what I'm using is the warm-up packet from ASU right now. It's specifically Dr. Spring's method and Dr. Gardner's method. And this is what the exercise looks like. I'm just flashing it on screen. You know, I'm not really worried about it getting like copied and such. It's too low res for that. But it's in 6/8 and separated into groups of sixes. And it helps you become more consistent at tonguing. And then the other exercise that I'm about to do right now is a bit more disjointed. It's an 1/8 and 2/16, or specifically it's 2/16 and an 8 and an 1/8. So it's kind of like this. So we're going to play that right now with a different subdivision, of course. All right, so what I do before I move on, essentially it's split into 2 lines per section. So what I like to do is I like to do legato for the first line and then staccato for the second line. However, I like to mix it up sometimes because it basically just makes you better at tonguing overall if you mix it up a little bit. So now we're gonna do the second portion at one BPM equals 132. All right, now 144. So there are a few ways to do this. Some people like to pick one tempo and do the entire thing. I like to split it up into sections and increase the tempo as I go, like as I move on to each section. That's just my strategy. Sometimes I'll play through it twice to make it even faster. Today, we're just going to play through it once. All right, time to finish it off at 160. All right, so another thing to consider while practicing is trying to identify your habits as you're doing them. I kind of have a grunting issue whenever I start to tongue. Not every time, but on this tonguing exercise, it pops up sometimes. My instructors are working on that with me as I keep going. But I'm slowly breaking it. It takes years though. Okay, first I'm gonna get a drink of water, and then I'm gonna be a bit of a rebel, and I'm gonna do thirds instead of doing scales first. Gonna do it nice and slow at 60 today. I'm not sure if I'm gonna increase the tempo as I go forward with it. I know that's a method that one of my instructors likes, but I'm probably just gonna keep it at 60 for thirds. Thirds, arpeggios, and scales. That's the order I'm gonna do. I think I got something wrong on that one. Hold up. All right, I admit my face is a little tired right now. So we're going to take a little break at the intermission of just the thirds. Get a sip of water and I'll explain kind of what I'm doing. I'm actually not sure why I'm facing that way, because for scales, arpeggios, and thirds, I actually have them all memorized. Although pretty soon here, I'm going to really be pushing third octaves, especially on thirds and arpeggios, because I only have them at 2 octaves right now. Not sure how I'm going to tackle that. I think I'll tackle it either slow met or no met for a while, just to get the fingers down, and then I'll make those my normal. But for now, for arpeggios and thirds, I usually do them between 60 and 120 BPM. And for reference, this is what the thirds look like on paper. Not sure how well you guys can see that, but I did C major, A minor, F major, D minor, and so on and so forth, and ended at B flat minor. Okay, I think I'm ready to go on. I may end up turning up the fan, because I think the main reason I'm getting a little bit tired is because of the temperature in the room. Something was off. All right, I'm going to need to workshop that. I'm going to do it once with the paper, once memorized. Oh, that's the thing. I was messing up the turnaround. And yes, mistakes like that can happen at any level. It's about going back and workshopping and making sure that you know why you made the mistakes, so that they become less and less common. Then, of course, if you become a professional and become really high level at the clarinet, then that's when mistakes are very minimal. Although they will always happen to a degree. The frequency is the main is the differing factor. I think I got that one right. Yeah, I'm good. face is definitely tired. I'm not sure how much you guys are picking up on that, but you can hear some air leaks from my cheeks. However, if I take small breaks in between everything, I should be able to make it through everything today. Now on to B minor. All right, now right there, I actually took a peek at my phone that was laying on my desk. And as you can see, if I replay it, you'll probably see that I got a little distracted. So, of course, practice tip, keep your phone face down, especially when you're doing things. Now, if your autopilot is good enough, you'll be able to focus on something while doing that. However, like changing your perspective mid performance is a little jarring. That's why it's easier for me to turn on a YouTube video and continue watching it while practicing scales. That's what I like to do sometimes. But that time I saw my phone flashing, looked at it, and then I messed up a note. So my bad on that. Last one, E minor. All right, we'll do thirds in a second. I am gonna check my phone like the Gen Zer I am. All right. Whew. So, as you know, thirds go up by thirds, and arpeggios essentially simplify scales into three notes: the root, the third, and the fifth. So then a major arpeggio is just the root, the major third, and the fifth, and then the minor scales are the root, the minor third, and then of course the same perfect fifth. Then what you're supposed to do alongside triad arpeggios, are seventh chord arpeggios, and there are a lot of variations of those, like dominant sevenths. I think like so like dominant seventh chords. I admit I'm taking a bit of a risk. I'm not the best at music theory, and I'm kind of slow with it. It was a little difficult, but the only way you get better at it is by stepping outside of your comfort zone and persevering anyway. So like you have the dominant seventh chords where it's a major triad followed by a minor seventh from the root, and then you have what you can call a major seventh chord, and it's basically the same thing except there's a major seventh instead of a minor seventh from the root. So then it's essentially four parts of the major scale: 1, 3, 5, and 7, all four scale degrees of the major version. And then there's like minor. Yeah, there are a lot of variants. Maybe we'll get into that a little later. We can do some research together. Whew. Oh, my bad. I'm silly. Okay. So I was doing my metronome had no subdivision. So as you can see, it was just at 60. Yeah, you guys probably can't see that. Let me see if I can turn on the backlight. Yeah, I actually don't always use my phone as a tuner and metronome. Sometimes I use this. I've had this for years. These things last forever. So grab one. They're nice. You fit them in your case. They're kind of like Game and Watch. They kind of look like Game and Watch now that I think about it. They're just a neat thing to have. And this one actually has a drone on it. Then you can change it, go lower. Whenever I'm lazy to set up my phone, I'll set my drone to this when I'm doing long tones. It's not as good because on the phone you can change how the drone sounds and make it so that you're able to hear your sound versus the drone sound a little bit better and therefore tune better. But it's not like this doesn't work at all. It's just an alternative. And of course, if you're out and about, your phone can run out of battery. So having this as a backup so you don't waste your precious phone battery is worth it in my opinion, especially because these are very cheap. Actually, I'm going to look up how expensive these are. I'm just curious. Interesting. Okay, so I found a similar one to mine. Looks like they're around 30 bucks. I could have sworn mine was not 30 bucks when I first got it like years ago. Kind of just shows how inflation is. Very unfortunate. Because I could have sworn I got mine for like 15 bucks, like literally half of what I'm seeing on Guitar Center's website. Yeah, it literally looks the same. Not the exact same. It just looks like an upgraded, not really upgraded model. It has all the same buttons. But this is what Guitar Center's listing versus mine. Of course, it also has the backlight as I showed you earlier. So yeah, get your tuners now, because inflation will probably make that like 45 bucks in a few years. Yes, I am continuing to stall so I can rest up a little bit. All right, now we stretch. Actually, some people do hand stretches like before they practice. I'm definitely not good with that. Yeah, I'm very guilty of that. I do stretch before I exercise and such, but when I play video games and the clarinet, I don't stretch my hands, and I've been lucky so far. Actually, because of hand pain. Okay, I'm gonna go on a tangent. I'm gonna go on a little tangent. But because I do multiple things with my hands, I do the clarinet and I do fighting games. So what I actually did is I bought this because I had a hard time playing fighting games on controller. My hands were getting all stiff and like really hurting doing certain combos. So being able to kind of stretch out my hands and easily press these buttons, it has been a big help on hand pain. And nowadays I don't really feel much at all unless I practice maybe like 4 hours on the clarinet, then maybe I'll feel it. Or when I'm playing Tekken, which I actually played earlier today on stream, for some reason the mic wasn't working, but I'm going to fix that tomorrow or tonight if I decide to stream something else. All right, let's do some thirds. I'm going to try to circular breathe some of it. We'll see if I'm at that level with circular breathing right now. right, not quite. Got to get into the groove. Let's try this again. Not from the beginning, but from B flat, major. Whew. Yeah, I might not be able to do that much circular breathing for this today. Tomorrow, it'll be better, and then the next day, and then the next day, it'll continue to get better, and I'll be able to circular breathe through everything, at least on the arpeggios, because that's what I find easy to circular breathe. But today, we're just getting back into it. Face is definitely getting pretty tired right now. I need to take a longer break after this, probably. Oh, all right. But first, I'm going to do a little tuning check. I just want to see where I am. Definitely a little sharp. I think it's because we're in the summertime. I'm also going to go turn up my fan a little bit. It might actually distort the sound a little bit because when the fan goes faster, I think it distorts the sound waves a little bit. Let me play and see if I can show you what I mean. Yeah, it just slightly distorts the sound. If I turned it up even more, you'd be able to hear it even more. But it certainly feels a lot better right now. So I think what I'm going to do for a break is I think I'm going to mark up some of my music. Some music that I didn't quite mark up yet. I've actually marked up a lot of what I need to mark up for next semester, but not everything. For example, I'm doing Carl Maria von Weber. I'm doing a concerto. I'm doing this concerto right here by Carl Maria von Weber. Now, as I go along, I will try to be more knowledgeable about pronunciations and how to pronounce everything. I've obviously been exposed to a lot of it, but I'm not like perfect at it yet. So I'm not going to pretend to know every single thing. Because, for example, it says OP 73. I'm not sure how to pronounce O and P in the way that they want me to. So I'll go ask that question on Google later. For now, I'm going to mark it up while my face rests a little bit. Probably going to do a page or two. Because what I like to do is I often miss accidentals. So in order to not miss accidentals, I will mark every accidental. Not everyone has to do this, but when you're a clarinetist or a musician in general, you've got to do what works for you. Because this will prevent me from making a lot of mistakes mid-performance. So that therefore it is my responsibility to go in and mark everything. If you can see, yeah, on the solo there, I marked it flat because that's what I'm supposed to do. As for this song, I listened to a recording or two, and it gets pretty fast. However, the first page seems pretty chill overall. All right, we're actually almost done with the first page. Oftentimes, when I mark stuff up before I really play it, I might miss an accidental or two, or maybe add notes later. But initially running through it with my pencil helps me avoid a lot of mistakes the first time around. Yep, that's the first page out of eight pages on the clarinet score. So I'm actually going to be entering a concerto competition with this one in like half a year. So I've got plenty of time to work on it. However, it's good to start looking at it sooner than later. Get to know what's up. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to mark up the first 3 pages, and then I'm actually going to play through it. And then after I play through it, I'll probably go back to scales. Although controversial, sometimes I do like to do things out of order, as I said earlier. Doing what you feel like doing is more likely to get, you're more likely to get through everything. Some people have more strict schedules. Everyone has got their own thing going. What matters is that you're always working on it, always working, pushing yourself. So when I do play through this will be a very casual sight read. This will be like as casual as it gets. Because if I see something wrong, I'm gonna go and mark it. If I missed an awkward right left fingering, oftentimes on the clarinet, there's oftentimes like a correct way to finger certain notes, because a lot of notes have alternate fingerings sometimes, and a lot of the notes have different fingerings on like your left pinky and right pinky. So depending on which notes are sequenced on the page, it's better to go with a certain right or left left pattern. So if there is an obvious correct answer, I'll go and mark it so that I don't start on the wrong side of the clarinet, and then I'll play it as intended. However, sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's personal preference, and sometimes it's easy enough or not in a sequence, and then it really doesn't matter mid-performance which one you end up fingering. All right, we are almost finished with the second page right here. Ooh, there's a cadenza at the end of the second page. That's interesting. I'm sure next semester I'm going to be working on that a lot. Going to be a lot of interpretations that Dr. Gardner is going to want. He's going to have a lot of suggestions for me on how to tackle it. Okay, almost got everything on that second page. Just one more. I need to make some more room at my desk because it's kind of messy right now. I know you guys can't see it. But after last semester, I left a lot of stuff. Left a lot of stuff out. Okay, now I'll mark that. All right, one more page. One more page of marking. This is an interesting section. It looked like there was going to be an accidental, but there are a few lines with absolutely nothing, actually. It's all notated for me. Yeah, this is a tricky... I'm pretty sure there's a modulation of sorts here where I'm looking. We're on measure like 175, 186. Around that part. Oh boy. Yeah, there's definitely some modulation happening here. Let me see if I can identify it. So this is in F minor. Wait, no. No, it's in G minor. Oh, yeah, it's in G minor. My bad. It's all starts in G minor and then modulates to I think it modulates to G major actually. That's what it's looking like because it removes a lot of the flats. It removes a lot of E flats and B flats right here. So you got to kind of switch it up a little bit. No, there's not that there. Okay. All right, about halfway through. I think I need a better eraser, but I'm just going to try not to mark the wrong thing. Yeah, this section is tricky. I'm definitely gonna be adding more notes to this part later on. All right, now the pattern is easing up a little bit. It's easy to see what they're kind of doing here. Awesome. All right. I may have to go back and mark a few more things, but I am ready to go. We're ready to sight read this. Let me look up the tempo. We're going to go under. Actually, we're just going to do it at 60. 60 with no subdivisions, and then if the part gets a little funky with the rhythm, then I'll put on the subdivision. I'm going to do my best. Ooh, that's an interesting rhythm. Oh, okay, wait, no. Another strategy when I'm marking up the music, sometimes I'll add little lines to show where all the beats are. and therefore it helps me line up with the metronome better if there's something weird. So what happened here is there was an 8th note and then a 16th note followed by a 16th rest. So when I was sight reading it, it looked like some kind of syncopated rhythm where maybe I would do like an 8th, a 16th, then an 8th rest, and then start on an offbeat. But that's not the case. It's way more simple. The reason it's notated like this, even though you can essentially play it like 8th, 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 they write it like this so that you shorten the second part of each beat, even though you actually sort of play it like just straight 8s. So that's a little tricky. Then, of course, depending on your interpretation, you might make it more legato or more staccato, depending on what you're kind of doing. I'm going to really pay attention to recordings because with older pieces, they tend to be rather strict with interpretations. There are certain rules that you've got to follow to be successful with them. And if you do make any alterations, you've got to be really good. You've got to be very convincing with them and really show your own musicality to a high degree. You can't just do what you want to do with reckless abandon. There is a talent with that too, and certain pieces that you might be able to perform that way. But with a lot of older repertoire, there's a lot of expectations. And obviously that is a very it's a hot topic in the music world as to how we should actually tackle older music, because before the 20th century, we couldn't record anything, so we actually don't know how the stuff sounded back then. They could have. We're thinking that there were a lot of embellishments and a lot of improvisation in these older pieces, but we don't know for sure, and that's why a lot of people are really strict with the interpretations and basically going by what's on the page, making it sound as clean as possible with minimal alterations. It's a whole can of worms that you can write a million papers about, and a million papers have been written about it. But anyway, let's get back into that. We're going to start at C, which is at measure 68. And then we're going to see if we can get past the first page. I definitely missed some accidentals on that. Oh my goodness. One was a little sneaky. All right. We're going to just start at C again. I don't think I missed anything this time, but only time will tell. Oh, by the way, I'm doing this quote-unquote audition style. Usually during an audition, you skip a lot of rests, and you just give it a brief pause before you start in the next section. At least that's what they do at ASU. Obviously, audition style, as the way I'm defining it, does not mean like it's perfect and it's like ready to be auditioned. I'm just essentially skipping a lot of the rests that the piano would fill in. definitely have some questions on this next part. Well, on the part that I just played. I did miss a few more accidentals near the bottom of the page. Just fix those. But now there are a bunch of 16th notes near the end of the page. And they basically slur into identical notes. So for example, there's a B flat and then two 16th note C's, two 16 G's, F's, E's. It's really weird because usually slur means you slur them, no tonguing. But sometimes if identical notes are slurred together, and there's no real reason for that, sometimes it implies legato. However, right here, I'm gonna need to listen more closely to a recording than I already did, because I genuinely have a question on it. And I'm not wanting to listen to a recording here, because if I did, I might get copyright striked or something. So I've got to, if I play something, it's got to be from me. And if I do really need to listen to something, I'd probably put on headphones so that the stream can't hear it. That's just something you've got to be conscious of these days. All right, second page. Let's see if we can just run through this. For the third page, probably not. But let's do this. All right, pause. I missed a very important accidental there. And there's an awkward transition from 16th notes to triplets. And there are some grace notes mixed in for extra spice. So this is a very tricky section, even though I'm going under tempo at 60 BPM. right, now there's a cadenza, or not sure if it's a cadenza or a cadence. I'm not sure what it's really implying here. I'm thinking it's a cadenza because it's written in smaller text now, and it's a little tricky now. So I'm going to turn off the metronome and just make some kind of music out of it, and then reference a professional recording later. Interesting. Okay, now we are on the third page. I'm going to play this and then we're going to move on. No, I didn't forget a note there. Oh boy. These next few bars are going to be a bit tricky. Okay, I missed a crucial accidental. Shame on me. Okay. it's all natural. All right, interesting. Wow, my hair gets messy when I play. I'm not really sure why. I kind of try to comb it a little bit. I admit I don't put that much effort into it, but I play, I blink, and then my hair is all messed up by the time I'm finished with whatever I'm playing. Or next time I make it to a mirror. All right. So now I'm going to put that off to the side, reflect, listen, and do it again tomorrow. Do that again tomorrow. However, I'm going to change up the structure of everything a little bit. I'm going to do 2 different etudes really quick. Just run through them with the method. Maybe I'll do them twice each before returning to... Actually, I think I'm probably going to do scales last because they'll take a while. They will take quite a while. So right here I have Oul 48 etudes. And I'm going to do number 14 and 15. These etudes are pretty tricky, and they have pretty ambitious tempos too. So obviously I won't be able to play them at tempo, even though I've been working on these ones a little bit. Again, I'm going to start at 60. However, it's 60 to the dotted quarter, not just the quarter note. So essentially, this is like a triple meter passage. Interesting. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna need to write some fingerings down because I just remembered I neglected that on this one. L R. Okay, that should be okay. That actually might be too fast for me right now. I'm going to turn it down to 50. Just completely restart, going with the new mentality. Interesting. Okay. Ooh, that is a fast one. Okay. Wow, okay, that is fast. That is going to be a little tricky. Wow, okay, that goes high. No, okay. All right, that was pretty hard. Definitely going to need to let that one soak, maybe even practice it at 40 instead before I can really build it up. However, I feel that if I let it rest and come back to it, I feel like I will be able to more naturally play all of the required notes and such, and then make it more musical. Now, etude number 15 seems to be a bit easier, at least from the last time I played it. I might regret those words, but we're just going to go with that. So this one actually calls for the 8 note to be your main beat. So the suggested tempo is 8 note at 144. However, if you look at the piece, there are a lot of triplet sixteenths. I think that's how you call them. They look like sixteenths, but they're actually triplets of like triplet divisions below 8th notes. I don't know if I'm really saying that right, but we're just going to dive right into it and see how well I can do with 80 to the 8th note. Man, that fingering is tricky. Interesting. Okay, I'm definitely gonna need to write something down there. Oh my goodness. All right. Whew. All right. So yeah, definitely play Ool if you want to get better at fingering and tackling very, very awkward passages. If you can do Ool without marking anything down, then you are truly a master at the clarinet. It is very difficult to keep track of everything. For those two etudes I worked on, I wrote down everything, all the accidentals, and then even, of course, as you saw while I played it, I had to write down a few more things as I realized like some pinky placements were necessary. So yeah, some hard stuff. I'm definitely out of it for that one. Whew. You know, I actually think I need a break. I will practice more today. However, I don't think I'll stream it. I think I'll just start fresh tomorrow. Yes, I didn't do scales. I know I said I would. I will do them after I take a break. But man, do I need to take a break. As I keep going on in this series, I'll gain more stamina and just be able to be a machine and absolutely just run through everything. But that will come as we get further into the summer and closer to the fall semester. All right, see you guys.